Hello, future helicopter pilots. Welcome aboard as we delve into the art of helicopter flight. Today, we're tackling one of the most fundamental maneuvers, a skill that separates the novice from the proficient, transitioning from a stable hover into forward flight. This is where precision meets power. In a hover, your helicopter is perfectly balanced, a delicate dance between lift, weight, thrust, and drag. But the real magic is getting it moving with purpose. It's about transforming potential energy into kinetic energy, smoothly and efficiently. This transition is your gateway from stationary observer, a mere spectator in the sky, to active pilot, commanding your machine to fly with direction and speed. You're no longer just hovering, you're navigating. It's not just pushing a lever forward, it's a symphony of coordinated movements. Every control input matters, and each has a consequence. A slight adjustment here, a gentle nudge there, it all adds up. You'll use the cyclic to subtly influence the rotor disc and dictate the direction of movement, collective, to manage the overall lift and power being generated, and anti-torque pedals, to counteract the torque effect and maintain directional control. All in a coordinated sequence. It's like conducting an orchestra, where each instrument plays its part in harmony. Let's break it down so you understand not just what to do, but why. Understanding the why is what transforms a pilot from a mere operator to a true master of their craft. Picture yourself in a stable, 3-foot hover over the runway. Feel the gentle vibrations. Hear the rhythmic thumping of the rotor blades. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, accelerate smoothly and safely, maintaining control and awareness at all times, until you have enough airspeed to climb away. This is the moment you transition from hovering to truly flying. This isn't a drag race. We're not looking for a burst of speed. It's about managing power and control. It's about finesse, not force. The journey from 0 to 60 knots, or whatever your target airspeed may be, is filled with fascinating aerodynamic phenomena, forces that will both challenge and assist you, like inflow roll, the tendency for the helicopter to roll slightly as it begins to move forward, flapback, the phenomenon where the rotor blades flap upwards on the advancing side and downwards on the retreating side, and translational lift, the increased efficiency of the rotor system as the helicopter gains forward speed. Understanding these forces is the key to mastering the transition, to anticipating the helicopter's behavior and responding accordingly, and becoming a true pilot in command. It's about confidence, competence, and a deep understanding of your machine. Buckle up, ensure your harness is secure, your instruments are checked. Let's get this incredible machine moving forward. The sky awaits. All right, let's get started. It's time to begin the dance. We're about to explore one of the fundamental aspects of helicopter flight, transitioning from a stable hover into forward motion. This maneuver requires finesse, understanding, and a delicate touch. Get ready to learn about the forces at play and how to counteract them. From your perfectly stable 3-foot hover, where you've established a solid foundation, you gently and deliberately press the cyclic forward. This is the initial cue, the first step in telling the helicopter you're ready to move. Feel the subtle shift in the machine as it responds to your input. But suddenly, and often unexpectedly, the helicopter wants to roll to the right. It's a distinct and noticeable movement that can catch new pilots off guard. This uncommanded and often unsettling move is called inflow roll. It's a phenomenon inherent to helicopter flight dynamics, particularly during the transition from hover to forward flight. Understanding why it happens is crucial for safe and controlled flight. This happens because as you begin to move forward, initiating that transition from a stationary hover, the airflow dynamics through the rotor disc change in a way that's not uniform. It becomes unevenly distributed across the rotor system. This uneven airflow results in a differential lift situation, causing more lift to be generated on the right side of the rotor disc. It's all about the dynamics of the advancing and retreating blades and how they interact with the oncoming airflow. The right side of the rotor disc, with its advancing blades, experiences increased lift, while the left side with the retreating blades experiences comparatively less. This imbalance in lift is what causes the helicopter to roll to the right. But there's another factor at play here: gyroscopic precession. This means that any force applied to the rotor disc doesn't manifest immediately in the direction it's applied. Instead, this force shows up 90 degrees later in the direction of rotation, effectively tilting the entire rotor disc to the right. So how do you fix it? How do you counteract this natural tendency of the helicopter? The key is to anticipate the roll and correct for it proactively. As you push the cyclic forward to initiate that forward movement, you'll want to simultaneously add a subtle but deliberate touch of left cyclic input. This counteracts the inflow roll and helps to keep the helicopter flying level and balanced. The amount of left cyclic needed is subtle and requires a feel for the aircraft. It also depends on the rate of your acceleration. The faster you accelerate, the more left cyclic you'll likely need. It's a delicate touch, a finesse movement, not a forceful shove of the cyclic. You're aiming for just enough input to maintain a wings-level attitude, preventing that unwanted roll. This is your first major step, a crucial skill to master in the forward flight symphony. It's the foundation upon which you'll build more complex maneuvers. Master this subtle dance of anticipation and correction, and you're well on your way to becoming a proficient helicopter pilot. After countering inflow roll, you'll notice the nose wants to pitch up as you accelerate. This is flapback. Flapback is caused by an asymmetry of lift between the front and back halves of the rotor disc as forward speed increases. Due to gyroscopic precession, the rotor disc tilts backward, making the nose pitch up and slowing your acceleration. To counter this, apply more forward cyclic as your airspeed increases. It's not a one-time push, but a smooth, continuous input to keep the nose slightly low. Your goal: maintain a constant, slightly nose-low attitude for efficient acceleration. This requires adjusting cyclic, collective, and pedals together. Stay ahead of the helicopter, and you'll keep accelerating smoothly. As you accelerate, something wonderful happens: effective translational lift, or ETL. Around 16 to 24 knots, the helicopter feels lighter and more responsive. ETL occurs when the rotor system moves into clean, undisturbed air, making it dramatically more efficient. You'll notice a vibration and a slight pitch-up or roll correct with the cyclic. The engine needs less power to maintain altitude, and you might start climbing unintentionally. Lower the collective slightly to prevent ballooning, keeping the helicopter low to build more speed. Recognizing and managing ETL is a key skill for safe, efficient takeoffs. Use this free performance boost to your advantage. When you're dealing with ETL, the temptation to gain altitude immediately can be strong. It feels like the natural thing to do to get some separation from the ground, but resist that urge. Don't climb right away. Instead, maintain a low altitude, somewhere in the range of 10 to 15 feet above the ground. This might feel counterintuitive, but there's a very good reason for it. The goal is to stay low until you've built up sufficient airspeed to ensure a safe climb out. This speed is typically in the range of 60 to 70 knots, but always refer to your specific helicopter's flight manual for the exact recommended speed. This strategy is directly related to understanding and respecting the height velocity (HV) diagram. This diagram is a crucial tool for helicopter pilots. It's also sometimes referred to, perhaps a bit morbidly, as the dead man's curve. The HV diagram graphically represents combinations of altitude and airspeed that are considered dangerous. These are the flight regimes where, if you were to experience an engine failure, a safe, auto-rotative landing simply wouldn't be possible. There just wouldn't be enough time or energy to execute the maneuver successfully. By staying close to the ground and accelerating, you're actively working to avoid entering that low and slow danger zone depicted on the HV diagram. In an auto-rotation scenario, airspeed becomes your most valuable asset, your essential safety net. It provides the crucial kinetic energy needed to perform the flare maneuver, which slows your descent rate and ultimately cushions your landing, minimizing the impact forces. Therefore, if the engine were to fail while you're flying low and at a good forward speed, you'll have the necessary energy to perform a controlled auto-rotation, and if needed, even slide to a relatively safe stop. Conversely, initiating a climb prematurely can place you in an extremely vulnerable and risky situation. You could find yourself too high to simply land, yet too slow to build up the airspeed needed for a successful auto-rotation. In that situation, recovery might be impossible. Therefore, the best course of action is to stay low to the ground initially, focus on building up your airspeed, and only commence your climb once you are confidently and safely outside the boundaries of the HV diagram's avoid area. Adhering to this disciplined and methodical approach ensures that you're always prepared to react effectively, even when faced with the unexpected challenges of helicopter flight. You've built up speed and are ready to climb. The transition from low-level acceleration to climb should be smooth and deliberate. To climb, smoothly raise the collective, increasing blade pitch and lift. As you do, add right pedal to counter increased torque and keep the nose straight. Adjust the cyclic to maintain your target climb airspeed, usually around 65 knots. Find the pitch attitude that holds your airspeed steady as you ascend. If the nose is too high, speed drops. Too low, you accelerate past your target. Once established, maintain a stable climb, constant airspeed, steady rate, and coordinated flight. Make small, continuous adjustments to all controls. You're now flying, having mastered the transition from hover to purposeful climb. As you accelerate to cruise speed, new aerodynamic forces come into play. You'll often need a bit of right cyclic and right pedal to maintain straight, coordinated flight. The tail rotor counters main rotor torque but also pushes the helicopter sideways. This is translating tendency. At a hover, you use left cyclic to counter this, but as speed increases, the vertical fin helps, so you need less right pedal. The tail rotor's position can cause a slight left roll at speed, so you'll hold a bit of right cyclic. The interplay is complex, but the key is to fly by attitude and outside reference, not by where the controls are centered. Every helicopter is different, so adjust as needed for your model and conditions. Your job? Use the controls to achieve the desired flight attitude and performance. Stay coordinated, and you'll fly smoothly at any speed. The transition to forward flight isn't a series of isolated steps, it's a fluid, overlapping sequence. From hover you press the cyclic forward, add left cyclic for inflow roll, and progressively more forward cyclic for flapback. As you accelerate, add power with the collective and right pedal for torque. Passing through ETL, lower the collective slightly to prevent ballooning, and adjust pedals as needed. Hold the helicopter low, trading altitude for airspeed. Make constant small adjustments to all controls. Once at climb speed, smoothly raise the collective, add right pedal, and set the pitch attitude for a stable climb. With practice, this complex maneuver becomes a single, fluid motion. The theory behind forward flight transition can seem overwhelming, so many aerodynamic effects to manage. But in practice, your body learns the feel of the helicopter, and your hands and feet make corrections almost automatically. Think of learning to drive a manual car at first. Every step is conscious, but soon it becomes second nature. Flying a helicopter is similar. The initial learning curve is steep, but repetition builds muscle memory. With each takeoff, the sequence becomes smoother and more intuitive. Soon you'll instinctively counter roll, pitch, and ETL without thinking. What was once a checklist becomes a graceful, efficient transition. This is the goal, turning conscious knowledge into subconscious skill. Embrace the complexity, trust your training, and know that flawless takeoffs will soon feel as natural as breathing. The transition from hover to forward flight will become your favorite part of flying.